responsibly.
Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Tony. A library in Virginia says that 36 years later, someone returned an overdue copy of the book, Harry the Dirty Dog.
Tony Kornheiser, weird. The Hairy Dirty Dog is my pole dancing name.
All right. I never heard it. Is that a book? Is that a real book?
I guess. I mean, you know, do you find somebody? Remember when you were a kid and you were late,
Yes.
It was like 2 cents a day or 3 cents a day?
Yeah.
If it's that many years, do you find somebody or you're just happy that you got the book back?
You find them. Find them big.
Find them, really? Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the college football playoff kicks off and the NFL schedule is packed, including the Packers visiting Wilbon's Bears. But we begin today with last night's thriller in Seattle, in which the Seahawks beat the Rams by 1 point in overtime, 38-37, thanks to two two-point conversions, one of which is thoroughly controversial. The win makes the Seahawks the #1 seed in the NFC, and the loss kicks the Rams all the way down to 5th. Wilbon, what is your reaction to this game?
Well, I would say, first of all, that's for now. There's a couple more weeks left, and Seattle in particular has a game that I don't think they're going to win. But let me go back to your immediate question, Tony. That was fabulous. To me, I mean, that's the game of the year. It really is.
Yeah,
I mean,
agreed.
The way it progressed, you've got a great comeback with Seattle at home, being down 16, a margin they've never made up in their history in the NFL. The way they scored, you get the punt return for a touchdown, which changes the game. You get Stafford having played beautifully through the whole game, right through overtime. I mean, here's a guy, his MVP credentials did not suffer because his team lost last night. He put them in the end zone and gave them a lead in OT. But yet, even while the Rams may seem to be the better team, it doesn't matter. Because if you lose that game and you have to play as a result on the road somewhere and you don't have Devontae Adams and there are a bunch of conditions that come into play, that loss can hurt you. For all the pundits sitting around saying, oh, the Rams are still the better team. Doesn't matter who you think the better team is. The win counts for Seattle. Good for Sam Darnold. I was happy for him, but wow.
Yeah, so I will say right off the bat, I do think the Rams are the better team. But as you know, yesterday I sat here and said I think Seattle's going to win this game.
Yeah.
And Seattle won the game. And I want to go to the first 2-point conversion just for a few seconds here. On the field, every single player thought that was a dead ball. When the guy picked up the ball in the end zone, it looked like he was going to hand it to the referee. That should have been 30-28, and there was not going to be an overtime. And then you get this Deus Ex Machina call from the booth, maybe from New York City. I don't know where it came from. And everyone has to go back on the field. Nobody understands what's going on. It changes the entire betting component because the Rams are a 1.5-point favorite and they would have covered. And you may say that doesn't matter, but the league, all leagues now have partners who are involved in betting. So it does matter. Look, I'm glad it's the right call. I always want it to be the right call, but I will tell you it made me uneasy and it felt a little bit contrived, and I'm still sort of reeling from that. I'll get to Sam Darnold now. He had 2 picks last night. That's better than the 4 he had in their first game, Mike, but it's still 2 picks. It could have been disastrous for him, but he got another chance, and he threw the ball great towards the end of the game. It's a miracle win for Seattle, being down 16 with 9 to go. And, Mike, it's the second incredible loss this year for the Rams, who also had that blocked field goal attempt, touchdown against the Eagles. I think the Rams should be 13-2. And, you know, and I know you're not going to hear this, I want to see it again. I want to see it for a third time in the NFC Championship game.
I'm fine for seeing it again. But when you lose close games, that's what you are. You're a loser of close games. It's 3 of them. Okay. I don't want to hear from the Rams. They keep losing close games. So what? So, like, if it's a team that people don't think is as fuzzy or as cuddly, and they don't like them because they don't like some player, they say, they lose close games. That's what the Rams do. The 2-point conversion in real time before they went to the commercial break, I thought, wait a minute. The angle we had initially makes it look like a backward pass. If I saw it going into commercial, I don't understand why the players didn't know. And I was like, okay.
Not a single player.
That's the right call.
Not a single player on the field thought that was anything but a dead ball. Dead ball is what they thought.
brush up, Rams Seahawks, and I'd like to see it again, is not only the big matchup of Week 16. Tomorrow night, the Packers visit my Bears here on our frozen tundra, with first place of the NFC Central at stake. On Sunday, the Bucs and Panthers play for first place in the NFC South. 10-4 Jaguars take on the AFC leading Broncos. That's big. Steelers and Lions meet in the battle of 8 and 6s. And Sunday night, the Patriots take on the Ravens. Still don't know what to make of them. Tony, which of this weekend's games intrigues you?
Well, I'm going to stay away from the Bears and the Packers because I know you went out to Chicago to see this game. You wanted to see the Chicago Bears one last time before they became the Indiana Bears. So I'm going to leave that one to you. I am intrigued by Jacksonville at Denver, for one. I had no idea that Jacksonville would be 10-4 at this point in the season, that they would have won 5 in a row in 6 out of 7 for a brand new coach. I had some expectations of the Broncos because I think they qualified for the playoffs last year, but they've won 11 in a row. I had no expectations of that. You know, I'm looking at the AFC, and other than Buffalo, there are a lot of sort of youngish teams that we haven't seen that much of who could qualify for the playoffs. It's possible, Mike, that the winner of this game will end up in the Super Bowl. The other game that I would focus on, and I know they're not great teams, is Tampa Bay and Carolina, because they're going to play twice in the last 3 weeks of the season, and the winner, if somebody wins both, they're going to win that division. And although they're not great teams, you win a division and you get a home playoff game, which the Rams might not get, with a much better record. And I will tell you, Mike, that never, ever, ever did I think Carolina would be in a position to win that division.
Yeah, you know, Tampa we thought was pretty good coming in. Just one game. And, you know, the league and the network didn't put those other games on Saturday night prime time. They didn't put those other games on. This game is on. Packers at Bears, the league's 2 oldest teams, the league's oldest rivalry, 2 teams that plain don't like each other, even though, you know, I'm not going to make up some phony baloney thing about the fan bases. We all live together. I've driven the Lambo and you wind up tailgating in people's houses in their backyards when you're wearing a Bears jersey. So we don't hate each other, the fans. I mean, we do in a WWE sort of way for a couple of hours Saturday night. But this thing is really good. Nobody had the Bears being this far along this season with Ben Johnson in his first season and Caleb Williams in his first season under Ben Johnson. People did have the Packers there. You don't have Michael Parsons, but you do have Love, who people have being the MVP. We'll see. This matchup's got it all. I like some of those Sunday games too, Tony, and I'm going to watch them. But there's only one I traveled to go to, and that's right here.
Understandable. It's totally understandable. Steelers-Lions. Are the Steelers any good? Like, I don't know that.
We're still
Let's turn to the college
Steelers
football
and
playoff.
the Ravens. We're still trying to figure out if either one of them's any good.
College football playoff now. 1 game tonight, Alabama at Oklahoma. 3 more games tomorrow. Miami, Texas A&M at noon. Tulane, Ole Miss at 3:30. James Madison, Oregon at 7:30. Wilbon, which of these playoff matchups is the most compelling to you?
Tony, I want to try to get worked up for the Saturday matchups, but I can't. I'll watch them, particularly the noon game, Eastern time. But, Tony, it's tonight. It's Alabama and Oklahoma. And, I mean, look, Oklahoma already beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa. And people say, oh, well, the Tide turned it over a bunch of times. Why won't they turn it over a bunch of times again in Norman, where there's going to be an advantage for the Sooners? So, and, Tony, to be honest, I'm sort of rooting for Alabama because I don't want the storyline of, oh, my God, half the people in the state want Kalen DeBoer out. He's on a G6 up to Ann Arbor. And not only are you going to have the drama of the Michigan job, you're going to have the Alabama job becoming vacant. And that's what's going to happen. You're going to get that drama if Alabama loses. So I'd like to avoid that, but I don't think we're going to. I think that game's got all the intrigue. It's got as much intrigue as all 3 other games combined.
I'm just going to say this about Alabama, and I know that they lost to Oklahoma at Alabama. They also beat Georgia at Georgia. So you never count Alabama out. You don't count Alabama out. Now, I walk into this trio of games on Saturday and I think to myself, I don't give any chance in the world to Tulane or to James Madison. But if, by some miracle, one of those teams was to win,
Tulane.
That might be the most compelling result in the history of college football, certainly in the history of any playoff that they've ever had, anyone. And if Tulane were to beat Ole Miss, the hatred directed at Lane Kiffin in Oxford would reach new heights.
Yeah.
And again, Ole Miss could have chosen to let Lane Kiffin coach.
No, they
I
couldn't.
advocated for that, but they did not. I'm going to concentrate on the Miami-Texas A&M game, which I would like to call the Notre Dame Bowl, because these are the only two teams that beat Notre Dame all season. They beat them back in August, I think by a total of 4 points. I don't think either of them could necessarily beat Notre Dame now, but we're never going to know that. These are both good teams. I think it's possible Texas A&M is being a little undersold now because they lost late in the season when they lost to Texas, but that's their only loss. Miami has 2 losses that are worse than losing to Texas. Wouldn't you agree on that? So last year, Mike, in this round of the playoffs, the home teams went 4-0, and they won by a total of 77 points.
No game.
And I think that could happen again. It's college football. It's not pro. It could happen again, don't you think?
Yeah, but I don't think that'll happen like a blowout in the Oklahoma-Alabama game. It's just dripping with drama, Tone. Then, by the way, Tulane, don't count Tulane out of this. I think if there's going to be an upset out of the 4 games, it would be Tulane beating Ole Miss. And you're right. Oh, my God. Lane Kiffin.
Let's take a break. Coming up, Nikola Jokic breaks Kareem's record for most assists by a center. What is the word for that?
And what did we learn this week when pro golfers played in this team relay on the Golf Channel? What the hell was that?
So you think the Rams are losers? I don't. I still think... Time to get it on with Lexicon. What's first?
It's blank that Nikola Jokic passed Kareem for the most career assists by a center.
It's amazing is my word. It is actually totally amazing. Jokic is in his 11th season. Kareem played 20 seasons. Jokic has now played 771 games. Kareem played 1,560. That's more than double. And Jokic just passed him? What? Kareem is one of the 10 greatest players of all time, and Jokic just passed him. He's a 7-footer. You do not expect him to be like Tiny Archibald. Mike, at the moment, he is 28 assists behind Larry Bird, probably the greatest front court passer ever. He's 34 assists behind Dwayne Wade. He's going to pass them by Christmas. He leads the league in assists. It's totally amazing.
It is, Tony. It's evolutionary. That's my word, because the game has evolved in such a way. And, yes, there are multiple facets of it. I'm going to still name Steph Curry as the primary person, character in this basketball evolution, because the way he shoots it and spreads the court and allows other guys like a 7-footer like Jokic to get involved passing the ball. As you know, because you knew Wilt and saw him play a little bit, Wilt did this sort of as a lark. Wilt did this to say, hey, you want to doubt me? I'm Wilt. I can do anything. And he led the league in assists 1 year. But it's not 7+ a game. I don't know that Kyrie Irving, who is a wizard with the basketball, has ever averaged 7.4 assists a game, which I think is what the Joker is averaging. I mean, Maravich was a wizard. He didn't average assists like this. So, Tony, his evolutionary game has changed. Is what?
Kyrie's highest ever is 5.2, and Jokic has him by 2 a game. What's next?
God.
The team relay event at the Golf Channel games was blank.
My word is totally cool. Let me explain what this was last night. There were teams out there, and they were trying to complete a hole as quickly as possible. So at one point, Luke Donald, the team of Luke Donald, Rory McIlroy,
purple,
and Shane Lowry, they go out there and they complete a par 4, a legitimate par 4, in 28 seconds. They get a birdie in 28 seconds. Donald hits the drive. Rory is out in the fairway. He tracks it down, runs to it, hits a shot onto the green where Shane Lowry is waiting, hits it to 8 feet. Larry waits for the ball to stop moving because can't hit it while it's moving, sinks the putt, and they get a birdie. They didn't even have to use the fourth guy. They got a birdie in 28 seconds. Patrick Cantlay cannot grip his club in 28 seconds because he's the slowest golfer of all time. I will say that these sorts of weird things with the Golf Channel and with that TRL or TGL, whatever it's called, they are fun for me to watch in the winter. Only in the winter. They humanize the golfers, and they're at night and they're under lights, and I like them.
I don't like them, but I got to come up with a word. It's counterculture. Because when I go play golf, I want peace. I don't want to run anywhere. If I was going to do that, I would have stayed and played tennis. My word should have been so what instead of counterculture. So they did this. So what? What does it do? What does it advance? It's just
Fun.
So
it's fun.
What?
You're a Grinch.